So I mentioned in a previous video that while pen computing was a pretty big thing back in 1992, and a quite fair number of different vendors had gotten into it, like Compaq, Toshiba, and IBM, it was GRiD who really got into it first. And they had a fair number of products that were thrown out onto the market that used the then Penabled standard. And I have a couple of them right here. I have what's known as the 2200 series of GRiD convertibles. There's actually a little brief snippet on the Computer Chronicles that goes over one of these. But they are fantastic tablets and convertibles. First off, it's GRiD, so it's really well made. It's got a nice metal body. A lot of the machines I have are beat up or they have tape on them or something. They were used in rather rugged environments. On the side here, we do have a single PCM CIA slot. This one seems to have popped its spring, so that one has to be reassembled. We do have a rocker power switch back here, so there's no like soft power. You literally, it's on or physically off. I have an optional modem installed, and I have this connector here. And that's for the floppy drive, which again, very GRiD-like, completely metal body. Rather, it's an amp connection, and it just connects into the side there and screws in, and there you go. On the other side here, we do have our brightness and contrast. We do have this broken string here, and I'll get to that in a little bit here. And on the back here, we have, there's supposed to be a cover usually here, but we have one serial port, one VGA port, and we have this thing right here. And this is actually the battery. And if I release one latch, slide sideways and pop it off, this is the battery pack, nickel cadmium, and this is the AC adapter plug. And this is the only place in the system that you can plug in power from the wall or from a car. If you don't have a battery, you're kind of screwed. And that's why I have multiple batteries here. And amazingly, it's been a while since I've charged these, but they do hold a charge for like 20-30 minutes, which is actually kind of cool. And I can play with that. But I think the more interesting thing here is that it's not a tablet, it's a convertible. And how the hell is it a convertible if it looks like a tablet? Well, two buttons on the side, push them, and the keyboard is hidden, there we go, underneath the screen. And it's a full-size keyboard that you can type with. It has a whole bunch of function buttons on it. And when you're done, you want to use it as a tablet again, there you go. And I really love this design. This is something I really wish was used a fair bit more, especially now that we've managed to make laptops and tablets a lot thinner. Like the Surface basically has a snap-on keyboard. In this case here, again, it just hides behind the screen, and I love it. And the hinges are, I guess they're strong enough. I do have a broken one, and I'll get to that. Now, this was the early 90s, so GRiD wasn't doing all that well. And in fact, you can find these tablets and convertibles under other brands. And I actually have one right here, which is branded by AST. This here is actually the AST model. Oh, I don't even think it gives a model here. No, it does not. Type P5XX. Yeah, how useful. But no, it's exactly the exact same GRiD convertible. This one here actually has a broken hinge. And so I can't actually open this right now. Huh, okay. Ugh. That's concerning, but I have released this. And this is what that piece of string was for. The pen cannot be lost because it's on a string. Unfortunately, someone has decided that it would be a great idea to snip the pen off, and in the forthcoming years, it has been lost. Now, the other thing about this pen is that it's not like a Wacom pen. It does have an FCC ID on it, but it's not inductive. And if I just twist the end off here, there's a spot here for two batteries. And these take some ridiculous little tiny hearing aid cells, which I keep around, but I don't keep in here because they're constantly consuming power. And every single pen I have has had a leak in it, and it's a real mess, and sometimes it can destroy the pens. But I do have here at least one working machine, and I say at least one because this one here, well, I can't really flip the top up, so And for that first one here, which is technically the better of the bunch, I get a lot of my stuff out of recycling centers, and a lot of them have policies regarding data destruction. Now, like I've said before, when it comes to pen computing for Windows, it's an OEM product. So the vendor makes its own custom drivers for each model, and they're not interchangeable from the standard between other brand of tablets and convertibles. This one here, I was forced to have the hard drive removed, so I do not have Windows or anything installed on this, so I can't reinstall pen computing for Windows because I don't have the display and digitizer drivers, which is really unfortunate. I'm just kind of hoping that between these other models here, maybe there's something I can piece back together and make it work. But I do have one working unit here, which is this model 2260, which is a 386 SL machine. And I'm going to power that one up for you here, and we're just going to poke through it. Alright, here we are set up. It's in the convertible mode, so I do have the keyboard in front of me. And I'm just going to flip the power switch and turn the system on, which is really rough to reach. There we go. And it says, press spacebar or escape or touch the screen with your pen to terminate the test. Oh, well, too late. But, oh, there we go. GRiD Systems Corporation is an OEM version of DOS. It's loading up a fair number of pre-installed drivers. And we come to this beautiful little executive menu. This is one of the reasons why I love GRiD so much. They really did go all out when they meant that this was going to be Penabled. So even in DOS, I do have control. So I can run MS-DOS with the on-screen keyboard. And boom, there I go. I have a numpad, I have the full keyboard, I have function keys. I do have a fair number of buttons down here as well, so I can actually reverse the video on here. The color control, well, that doesn't matter much because I don't have an external display. This is black and white. The speaker, well, I can mute it. I do have a low speed here. I do have a turbo button on this machine in the form of low speed. And there is actually an LED on the keyboard directly above a key that's marked low speed. And I believe... okay, it doesn't respond there, but I can actually go between two different speed modes. This affects power consumption in the machine, and I also have this here for disk. And what does disk do? It spins down the drive. There we go. And, well, okay, that's kind of cool and all that. Version 5A, well, yeah, whatever. Can I just continue on here, though? There we go. I can go back to there. I can test the pen battery. There we go. I have to spin up the drive there, and I don't have to like plug this in or anything like that. As it says here, just press the pen and then lift the test, and it'll tell me how my battery is doing. There we go. I can actually change my configuration here. Why is this? Like I said, with the batteries in this thing being kind of iffy. Oh, I know why. There we go. And it gives me this fantastic, like, this is like a movie OS style configuration setup here. But no, I can do system status if I want. And again, optional modem is installed. There we go, 2400 baud. Woo, this is all that kind of nice. Power settings, peripheral settings. Notice how I'm not getting any response here. There we go. I'll get to that in a couple moments here because nothing in this world is perfect and neither is this GRiD. But there's all my settings here. I don't, like, this is my BIOS per se, so. Sun disk wear level. This kind of confuses me because this really seems like the kind of thing for a solid state solution, but there is no solid state disk in this. So maybe GRiD actually had available a solid state option, which was like, I don't know, like 8 or 16 megabytes, and this is the wear leveling control or something like that. Or it's really, really cool. Let's switch the boot sequence around because I can. That's not going to change much because my battery is dead. I can change my keyboard type, 102. Okay, well, go back to the main menu. And we have our video settings here. It's all these cool little settings. It's like it's literally going through the BIOS, but it's just so interactive. Yeah, I can. There we go. Yeah, reverse the video from there as well. My color map style. Well, that's not going to be much. I can't even touch it right now. Bold font. Again, can't touch that. Frame color. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, go back to the main menu, and I can wake up from standby. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there is standby mode in this here, and I can just push this button at the bottom, and the system goes to sleep. If I push it again, it starts beeping at me angrily apparently, and it wakes up. Why is it complaining so much? Okay, I had to go and reset the machine there because for some stupid reason the power management began freaking the hell out. But, okay, first off, two things. My text is a little bit screwy here because part of this LCD is a bit screwy as well. I got a touch over here. But yeah, test screen digitizer. Remember how I was talking about I couldn't get anything to work in the middle here? I'm going to scroll down. And no, I didn't want that. Test screen digitizer. There we go. And I could draw in these little panes if I want. And they all seem to be absolutely fine. Except for right here, which seems kind of odd. And this is jail barring on me again. There we go. Huh, interesting. That side has stopped working. But no, if I want to draw, there's a whole dead area right here, which is really suspicious. Like, it works over here, but I enter into here, and suddenly, boom! What is with all this garbage? Tracking is absolutely atrocious in this part of the screen. So, okay, this is starting to, there we go. Alright, so like, there's a problem with the digitizer in this part of the screen. Alright, enough of this. Let's just get out of this. Let's go to Windows, which I have to use that for, unfortunately. There. Again, pen computing 1.0. This is amazingly slow on the original hard drive. There it goes again. Like, this LCD is not long for this world. Luckily, I got spares at least. And I do already have mouse tracking, but yeah, like I go here and suddenly, boom, there's a giant dead area on my screen. And I'm not even running in like low speed mode right now, so it's literally just this awful and slow. And obviously this here was an ASL/ESL like special needs computer here, because there's some interesting software in here that's just simply for speech synthesis, but there's no sound card or any sound capabilities on this, so interesting. But no, close. Main, restore. Again, not a whole hell of a lot. Welcome to Windows 3.1. There are a couple of things that are kind of cool. I can't reach the control panel, so I'll have to enter and open that. I really do hate how the middle of the screen is dead, because everything wants to be in the middle of the screen. Like, yeah, just like it dies right there. I scroll, and it shows up over here. But Night Power Management actually has a special SL version. And I can actually go into those options. Or I wish I could, unless I scroll up. There we go, options. Screen is still doing, I'm just going to have to pinch it in the corner here. Oh, God. There we go. Yeah, my CPU speed, I can control my speed, all that jazz. It's really cool. Speaking of battery power, the battery's actually kind of good in this here, I mentioned before. So I'm just going to unplug it. We are now on DC power. This has not updated here. Let's see if I can refresh that. And there we go. PC is currently battery powered. And it says it's high. And let's see if we can do the rest of this video with the battery. And again, I have rotation. I have another power management panel here for GRiD. And it'll actually give me hard disk timeout, backlight timeout. There's a lot of actual power management on this. And a lot of stuff, like even the calibrate here has a little GRiD logo in the corner of it. Rotation has a little GRiD logo on it. I do have the full 386 enhancements, which is kind of cool. But other than that, I have not gone and customized the system. But I still think this is way better than the 730 Ti in terms of usability, just simply because it has a full-on keyboard. It's just unfortunate. All my machines are just so beat up. So I'm just going to quit out of that. Yes, it'll end my Windows session. And, oh God, I can't reach the OK. All right, fine, enter key. And it goes right back to this, and I can go right to DOS with an on-screen mode, and it's actual DOS, so... Right, I cannot type any other commands on the keyboard here because of that stupid dead center spot. Anyways, you get the idea. This is a fantastic, way more better tablet than the 730 Ti. There's a couple of other products out there. I might show off my compact Concerto, but that has absolutely no hard drive. Again, Data destruction policy, but it looks a little bit better. It's seen a bit more movie time, but here you have it. This is the convertibles of the 1990s. And this one here, in particular, is the 2200 series of GRiDs.